Welcome to Healthier and Happier Hormones. So, if you're here today, I'm so excited you're here. I have so much to share, you guys. I have 15 pages of notes. Don't be scared. And I've just had not a heavy heart. I've been excited to talk to you about it, but as I was reading through the comments of everybody who placed questions or comments yesterday when I posted that we were going to talk about this, it made me realize that this is a huge, huge issue and problem for women. And I want to offer hope and help. There's going to be a lot of info here, so I hope you will take notes. Hi, Shelly. Good morning. Hi, Denise. Good morning. If you're here, please say good morning. And let me welcome you in. Get on in here. The other thing that I would love for you to do is if you know women who could benefit from this, would you tag them or would you share this on your own page? This video will not be left up, so you will have today to watch it. It will be removed tonight. Hi, good morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. So the video will be removed tonight, and what I'm going to do is go back and edit the description of the video as soon as I finish to include some links and to include how you can get the replay. So you are going to have access to the replay, but the video will not be left up on my Facebook page. You also will get a couple of cool things, an invitation to a private group, and the replay for this video. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I wanted to let you know all of that. A couple of things. The place where you can sign up for the replay is called, hold on, let me tell you what it's called. It's called Hormone Balance with Essential Oils. It's just a simple little website where you can give me your email address and I will email you the replay probably sometime tomorrow, but I'm not exactly sure. So you will have all day to watch it here, and make sure you get your friends in here to watch it today if possible. I gave this talk at a class a couple of weeks ago, and the response was incredible. People are really struggling, and we need to find hope with this. You know, and I'm going to, when I start the actual talk, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story, but I do know that we need hope and help. Good morning. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Jackie. Good morning. So once I start the talk, I will probably not answer questions until the end. And I do that because I have a ton of stuff to get through, and I want to be able to get through all of it, and then at the end we will answer your questions if we can. I also am going to post some resources for you. So when I edit the description of this video, I'll post the resources there. There will be a PDF about hormones. There will be links to some people that I like to listen to on hormones. And once I remove the video, I will just repost all those resources for you. So, good morning. Hi, Miranda. Good morning. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Melissa. Oh, you're so sweet, Miss Sharon. Thank you, doll. So, I will here and there ask you for, just some responses, just so that we can get a gauge of like how many people struggle with these kind of things or whatever. So I will ask you for some engagement, but I probably won't answer a ton of questions until the end. I so loved reading your responses yesterday, and it made me realize more and more how important this topic is. I've done a video on hormones before, but it wasn't as comprehensive as this one is going to be. So hang on to your hats. And if you can, take some notes. If you have your bullet journal, I have my bullet journal. I took a ton of notes when I was getting ready for this. So if you have your bullet journal, it would be a great place to take some notes on this. If you're just joining, welcome. Share this video out. I know that we all know people who are struggling with this and could benefit from some sisterhood camaraderie when it comes to hormones. And yeah, so share this out. Get your people in here. This video will not be left up. So there will be a link where you can get a replay if you just are joining, and I will post that link in the description of this video as soon as I finish, and then when I take the video down, I will post the access to the replay in a separate post. Does that make sense? Hi Barbara, good morning. Hi Suzanne. Thank you for sharing, Suzanne. That is awesome. Yes, Facebook tells me when you share it out, so that's so cool. So thank you. Okay, now let's don't waste any more time. This is gonna be a good juicy talk. Hi Pam. Hi Yolanda. Good morning. Good morning everybody. Get in here. Get your people in here. And I will let you know the website is what is it called? Hormone Balance with Essential Oils. That is where you will get the replay. So you can go there when we finish this, or I will post the link when we finish this video. Hi, Michelle. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Barbara. You just finished my book and passed on to Myra. Thank you. So awesome. Hi, Monica. Good morning. Okay, so here's the deal. When I know some of you have been following summer camp, this is basically part of summer camp. This is part 2 of my health journey because it was such a huge part of my healing and recovery. And so when my health crashed a few years back, one of the things that crashed so drastically was my hormone balance. And up to that point, I had struggled with maybe just a little bit off and on, but I had pretty much had pretty stellar hormone health. I had 4 babies really easily, never struggled with severe PMS or anything like that. I had mild polycystic ovarian syndrome, but it was always mild because I kept my weight down and I kept my exercise regimen up. And so when my health crashed and my hormones specifically crashed, it was pretty devastating for me because I was not used to feeling so irritable and so full of bad emotions and just in general so fatigued and tired and just so many things that I had never felt before. And it was like a slap upside the head. And I at that time had sought help in modern medicine, and I am a clinically trained physician. I'm an allopathic physician, an MD, and so what my training has been in pharmaceutical drugs, and I had read enough about those in regards to hormones that I didn't want to go down that path. So I started doing a ton of research and finding ways to naturally balance my hormones. And here's what I will tell you. I celebrated my 17th wedding anniversary July 7th, so a couple weeks ago. And I can't even tell you the difference in how I felt this year to how I have felt, especially the year my health crashed, as far as my hormone health and my vitality as a woman and all of that. It was completely different this year, and I was so very thankful for it. So if you're struggling, and I know you are because you posted your comments yesterday, those are all the same things that I was struggling with too. If you're struggling with those, please listen in today. Please take notes. Please have an open mind. One of the things that I had to realize when I started studying this is that I thought I knew it all already because I'd been trained. And so I wasn't that willing to keep learning. And you have to be willing to keep learning and trying to figure out what's going on in your body and how you can help it heal and how you can give it what it needs to heal itself, because that's what it's designed to do. A lot of times when we take prescription drugs, we just cover up the symptoms and it doesn't really heal anything. So I want to share the hope that I have found and the help that I have found, because it didn't happen overnight. That's the other thing that I want to tell you. Your hormones didn't get in this shape overnight, and they're not going to get better overnight. So you have to be patient and willing to keep learning and willing to keep trying. So I hope that you come into this. I pray that you come into this with an open mind and with a willingness to learn, and just with the right attitude. Of course, I kept saying when I taught this class a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, listen, if you don't have the right attitude yet, that's okay. We're going to help you balance your hormones enough that you have the right attitude. So even if you have a bad attitude, you're welcome. You're welcome to this video. So why is this such a big deal? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because a woman's menstrual health and her hormones act as a gauge for her overall vitality throughout her life. If you want to know how well a woman is doing in the health category, you need to know how her periods are, how her fertility has been, and what her sex drive is like. So libido, menstrual health, and fertility throughout a woman's life are a huge gauge of her overall health and vitality. Now, what I noticed yesterday, which is what I already knew because I've taught more than 300 classes, so I already knew this, is that we're not doing well in those categories. We're not doing well in menstrual health, we're not doing well in fertility, and we're not doing well in libido, which means we're not doing well. And so, if you look at the numbers, 20 million women suffer from PCOS. That is a syndrome of estrogen dominance, which includes fibroids, endometriosis, painful periods, and weight gain, and hirsutism, hair growth in weird places, all kinds of bad stuff. 1 in 9 women suffer from PCOS. 1 in 10 have endometriosis. 13 million women have thyroid dysfunction. 1 in 8 couples is infertile. 30% of women have fibrocystic breasts. 7 million women have clinical depression. 30% of women tend to be on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications, and it's my thought that a lot of those have hormone imbalance, and if they could balance their hormones, they could get off those medicines. Every 10 minutes, now this statistic frightens the life out of me. Every 10 minutes, 12 hysterectomies are performed in the U.S. Every 10 minutes. Hysterectomy is not the answer to hormone imbalance most of the time. So I hope I'm catching you before you've had that hysterectomy. But these 3 core areas of a woman's life, her menstruation, her fertility, and her libido, either enhance or impede her life. It's a huge, huge deal. Before we get into talking about all the abnormalities and all of that, let's spend just a little bit of time, not even very much time, but just a little bit of time on what it is like to have a normal cycle and what happens to a woman's body during those phases of her cycle, and how we can learn to better tune into our cycles. Because I think in general we live in a man's world and we try to pretend like we don't have fluctuations and we don't have a cycle. We try to pretend like we're the same every day, and we're not the same every day. And if we can learn to tune into where our bodies are, especially in the cycle, it will help us so much to understand where we need to make change and how we can make change. I think many, many women believe that hormones are just chaotic and that it's the bad luck of being a woman, and if we could do away with the whole thing, we would. No, we wouldn't. God made us this way for a reason, and our bodies are incredible, and our bodies bear children, and our bodies nurture children, and our bodies do incredible things throughout our lives, and we don't need to downplay the fact that they're made differently and that they go through these cycles, and we need to learn to tune into it so that we can better recognize when things are off. As a physician, I can say this: Western medicine does not I believe, offers little help when it comes to women's health, hormones, and mood. And I think that a lot of times what we offer causes harm. We're going to talk about that later. It's not that we never need Western medicine in this area. We do, but we first need to try to understand our bodies and give our bodies what they need. There's a better way, and I want to help you find ways that nurture your body as a female, honoring the way it's made, honoring the way it cycles, honoring the quirky things about it, and instead of pretending like we don't have those things and then getting on some kind of medication that just shuts it down, like birth control pills, or covers it all up like antidepressants. We don't want to do that. When your body gives you a symptom, it gives you a symptom for a reason, and we want to learn to help you listen to that. And we want to help you learn to give your body what it needs so that you can have a life that is vibrant and full and cyclical. That's the way we're made to be, and fulfilling and healthy, and where you're at a place where you can really focus on other people because you are doing well yourself. Okay, so here's what I have found over the past few years. If you can learn to align yourself with the cyclicality of your body and give it what it needs when it needs it, your body will do its magic. It will do the magic that it's supposed to. But everything, if you look around the world, God made the world very cyclical. We have seasons. The moon has phases. Women have cycles. So many things in our world are cyclical, and we need to learn to honor that. So let's talk about this real quick. Now, as we talk about this, I'm going to teach you a little bit about your normal cycle and how you can begin to pay attention to it and align your life a little bit more around it instead of always hitting up against, something that your body is not ready to do at that particular time. And as I do that, I want you to tell me what part of your cycle you are in right now. So the first phase of the cycle is called the menstrual phase. So that's days 1 through 5, 6, 7. We all know what that phase is like. That phase is when your hormone levels drop, your uterine lining sloughs off, you can have cramping and fatigue and backache and all of that. So there are 4 phases. I'm going to go through each of them: menstrual, follicular, ovulatory, and luteal. So these are the phases that you go through every month. Even if you're menopausal, you will probably notice that your body still cycles through these phases to a certain degree. Most women actually by day 2 of their cycle are feeling better. Their hormones have declined. They're feeling a little bit better. It's kind of a little bit of relief because you've been through the PMS period, so your period is a little bit of relief. This is a time where you often feel restless and a little bit dissatisfied, and you're looking at things and thinking through things. If you pay attention and you start journaling, you probably will come up against the same thoughts about this time every month. Listen to those. That's your intuition telling you that there are things you need to work on or whatever. Don't just discount them. Make sure that you're journaling during this time so that you can pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you. Your body needs rest and recovery. You do not need to be running a marathon on day 1 or 2 of your cycle. You do not need to be out on a marathon day shopping. You need to give your body rest and fluids and good nutrition when you're in your cycle. Okay? So honor your body. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why your cycles are so bad. They shouldn't be so horrible when you begin to give your body what it needs during the cycle, but sometimes we just expect too much of it. This is when you need to be resting and recovering. Your body is doing incredible things during this period of time, so give it what it needs. Then you're in your follicular phase. That's days 7 to 10. That's when your body starts preparing for the next cycle. So your estrogen level goes up. You start your cells begin dividing, you're creating new eggs. The same thing is kind of happening in your brain too. Your brain, this is a new beginning for your brain. Your energy level tends to be at its peak. Your creativity level is high. Thank you, Lisa. You're in follicular right now. Awesome. So if you have difficult work you need to do, save it for your follicular phase. This is a good time to do social things. You have a lot of energy. You tend to be a little more extroverted during this time of month. So this is a good time to do things that are social and to be out in the world. It's a good time for new beginnings. If you want to start something new, it's great. You might notice, if you start paying attention, that you already do start new things during your follicular phase. Like, oh, I think I want to create a website. Oh, I want to start a new Facebook page. Oh, I want to do this and this. If you pay attention, you probably get those thoughts for new things and new starts when you're in your follicular phase. It's a great time of month. Your body is at its sort of peak energy level and all of that. It's a good time to do challenging workouts. It's a good time to try something new and all of that. The next phase is your ovulatory phase. This is days 3 to 4. So this is, you get a surge of luteinizing hormone, LH, from your brain, which causes one of your eggs to swell and burst. Testosterone makes a quick surge during this time. This is the time that you are your most attractive to other people just by nature. You are magnetic during this time. This is the time when it's a time to make connections. It's a time to connect with other people. Your ovulatory, I heard somebody say one time that people can't tell you no during your ovulatory phase. So if you want to raise, or you're trying to convince your husband to do something or whatever, do it during your ovulatory phase, because you have this magnetism about you because of your hormone levels. You're irresistible during ovulation because that's when God designed it for you to make babies. You have so much natural energy during this time that you might want to be careful what you're eating. This would be a good time to go lower on the carbs because your body already has plenty of natural energy. You want to do any kind of exercise that you do. You want to do it in groups during this time. Group fitness is fun because you're connecting with people. People are naturally attracted to you during this phase. It's an important phase of your cycle. It doesn't last very long. The luteal phase is days 10 to 14. Day 1 is the first day of your period. Yes, Kelsey. The luteal phase is when if the egg is not fertilized during the luteal phase and you don't get pregnant, the corpus luteum, which has been producing progesterone, it starts producing progesterone, and so your progesterone and estrogen level rise. If the egg is not fertilized, then later on it will be reabsorbed back into your uterus, your progesterone will fall, and that's when you will start your period. But your luteal phase is really important for you. It's when you get your nesting tendencies. It's when you want to reorganize your house. You tend to be a little more inward. You want to stay home and do a project at home. You want to cook meals for the next few days. It's when your natural monthly nesting comes in. This is usually when I decide, oh, it's time to reconcile the bank statement or work on my budget, or it's time to clean stuff out or whatever. This is when you naturally have this organizational tendency, this tendency for nesting, cleaning things out, getting things ready. This is God's way of saying, hey, you might be having a baby 9 months from now. Maybe not. But it's our natural tendency during this time to nest. So during this time, you tend to be less extroverted. You tend to want to be home, doing the things at home. And then obviously, if you don't get pregnant, then pretty soon your progesterone level will plummet, and that's when your period will start. So in your late luteal phase is when you have PMS. So your early luteal phase is kind of nesting, reorganizing, and all of that. Your late luteal phase is PMS, and we all know what those symptoms are: bloating, irritability, your sleep is disturbed, you just in general don't feel good. So those are your phases. Now, How many of you would confess that you pay zero attention to any of that? Just put 0 in the comments. If that has not been important to you and you try to forget what it is, you don't keep track of it or whatever, just put 0 in the comments, because I am going to bet that most women try to forget. They don't want to think about it. They don't even try to tailor their life at all around what's going on in their bodies. You just push through, you do what you do, and all of that. And you know, there are times in your life when you have to do that, but if you can start paying attention and start honoring yourself more, you will be amazed how much it will help. Let me give you an example. You know that if you've been following my Facebook page, you know that Stevie and I have taken up backpacking in the dark and lonely woods. Well, the first time that we went on a 17-mile or 18-mile backpacking trip up in the mountains, I was in my late luteal phase. This is not a good time to be out in the woods, pushing your body to its limits. It was miserable in a lot of ways. I mean, I enjoyed the experience. It was awesome. But I said to myself, next time we plan a backpacking trip, I am not going during this phase of my cycle. And sure enough, we were planning our next trip, and I was paying attention because I journal and write this stuff down on my calendar. And we scheduled the trip for a way better time for me. And when it's a way better time for you, that means it's a way better time for your husband too. So, pay attention. You can't schedule everything like that, but you can start to pay attention and at least know, like, oh, I need to give myself some extra support because I'm going to be doing such and such when it's not really a good time for me to be doing that. Okay, so if you start paying attention, it will help. Somebody just mentioned The Woman Code. That is an awesome book that talks about aligning your life more with your cycle, what nutrition is important during the phases of the cycle. It goes into a ton of detail. So yes, that book is awesome. If your cycles are irregular, your hormones are not normal. So we are going to talk about ways that you can make them normal. You should cycle, every 28 days or so. And if you're not cycling regularly, it usually means you have some estrogen dominance or some PCOS, mild polycystic ovarian syndrome, and there's help for that. You don't have to live like that. I mean, some people say, oh, I love the fact that I don't cycle, but it's not good for your hormones to do that, because what that means is that you have estrogen in your body that's unopposed. And unopposed estrogen causes a lot of other symptoms that we don't like. So we will talk about that. Now, hormones are made from cholesterol. So, does anybody know what one of the most common prescribed drugs is in the U.S.? That would be statins, which are cholesterol-lowering drugs. I'm not a huge fan of statins. I try to be nosy and ask all my family who's on statins, and if possible, get them off statins. But if your hormones and your brain are made of cholesterol, if you take statin drugs and lower your cholesterol too much, that's not good for your brain, and it's not good for your hormones. So why do so many men have hormone dysfunction? Because so many men take statin drugs and beta blockers and all of that. So one of the things we're going to talk about at the end when we talk about ways that you can help yourself naturally with hormones is that you need to pay attention and get good fats in your diet. Your body needs fat. Your brain is made of cholesterol. Your hormones are made from cholesterol. And I promise you that if you start changing those things in your diet, you can probably get off those drugs. So just be aware of that. Your hormones are made of cholesterol. Statin drugs have serious side effects for most people. Most people have side effects from them, even if they don't realize it. So if you're on those drugs, do some research about it. Talk to your doctor about it. Do things that you can do to get on, to get in a better way. I have not talked about bioidentical hormones. I will talk about them at the end. We're going to talk about things you can do at the end. We're just laying the groundwork right now for why this is so important to address. When you talk about, of course, I wish I could show you this. It's going to be backwards for you, but the pathway with which you make your hormones starts out with cholesterol, and then it goes through two precursors. I'm going to mention these because we're going to talk about them later. It goes through pregnenolone, which is a precursor hormone, and DHEA, which is a precursor hormone. You've probably read about that one. Some of you may be on it. Those are precursors, and then it goes on down through the pathways to make all of your hormones, your estrogens, your progesterone, your testosterone, and some other hormones as well, but we're going to concern ourselves today with the female hormones. Okay, let's talk about why so many women have hormone dysfunction today. There's a lot of different reasons for that, but let's talk about some of them. One of them is that in our environment, there are a lot of hormone disruptors. So these are everywhere in your environment. When we get off of this video, I would love it if you did your own research. Look up hormone disruptors. Look up xenoestrogens, Xeno estrogens. They're everywhere in the environment. They disrupt our hormones. They can often bind to our hormone receptors and block our body's natural hormones from binding, causing us to have hormonal symptoms even when our levels of hormones are technically normal by blood work. So if you've had your hormones checked and you knew that your hormones were out of whack, but you were told they were normal, part of the reason for that is because you have got your hormone receptors all globbed up with all kinds of stuff from the environment, and they are disrupting the pathway of letting your body's natural hormones get to where they're supposed to go and do what they're supposed to do. So where are these toxins? Everywhere. They're in your food. They're in your personal care products. They're in pesticides and herbicides. They're in plastics. They're in, really look around your house and you will see hormone disruptors everywhere you look. They're in your cleaning products. They're in the stuff you wash your clothes in. They're in all kinds of things that cause your hormones to not function well, even when you have enough natural hormones. The other thing is a lot of these hormones have estrogenic-like effects. So they can act like estrogen, they can mimic estrogen, which means that a lot of women in our country have functional estrogen dominance. They have too much estrogen activity going on in their bodies. And too much estrogen, when it's not balanced by progesterone, causes all kinds of problems. It causes endometriosis and fibroid breasts and obesity and all kinds of infertility, all kinds of problems. So one of the powerful ones is the stuff that we find in our food. There are a lot of hormone disruptors in our food. So doing some research and cleaning up what you're eating as much as possible, eating whole nutrient-dense foods. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrition at the end. But because of our modern diet and because we as a country struggle with obesity, we also get extra estrogen from those fat cells. We create more fat cells, the more processed food and sugar, etc. that we eat, and those fat cells produce estrogen. So we're flooded with estrogen in our food. We're flooded with estrogen from our fat cells. We're flooded with estrogen from the things in our own house. And then our bodies start to break down and we start to have symptoms of hormone disruption. It shouldn't be like this, and we're going to talk about ways to help ourselves, but part of the problem is that. The other huge factor is synthetic hormones. If you're taking birth control pills, if you're taking synthetic hormones are so bad for us. They increase the risk of cancer. They increase the risk of heart disease and stroke and blood clots, and plus they have untoward side effects even of themselves. So if you're on synthetic hormones, you need to try to find a way to get off of them and find more natural products to help you. I am, we live in a culture where you go in, this is what happened to me when my health crashed. You go in to see someone and right away you get offered something. For young girls, here's what happens. A young girl goes in with symptoms of bad PMS or symptoms of estrogen dominance. And what do they get put on? They get put on birth control pills. It's just terrible. It's just terrible the amount of our young girls that are getting put on birth control pills and later on in life will develop breast cancer, stroke, heart disease, all kinds of things, infertility. It will screw up their hormones. It's not a good answer for young girls. There are other things that you can do. I like the copper IUD better, Kim. I don't like the Mirena because it has some synthetic hormone in it. So get away from the synthetic hormones. The other thing is just, clean up your environment. Begin to do some research about where all these estrogen-like molecules are lurking and reduce the amount of them. The better option actually is to increase your progesterone. So we're going to talk about progesterone. Progesterone is amazing. Progesterone I'm talking about natural progesterone. I'm not talking about synthetic progesterone, but natural progesterone is amazing for a woman's body. I'm going to read you some things that happen. These are physiologic functions of progesterone in your body. This is what how your body responds to natural progesterone. It thickens and stabilizes the lining of the uterus for possible implantation of the egg. It's a natural diuretic and important in blood sugar balance. It burns fat. People lose weight when they have enough progesterone. It supports normal libido. One of the ways you know if your progesterone is high enough is do you have normal libido. It drastically reduces hot flashes and night sweats. It stimulates bone formation. It normalizes your blood clotting. It supports normal thyroid function. It decreases vascular inflammation. It supports normal fertility and breastfeeding. Listen to this, you guys. Your progesterone being within the normal range, functionally, meaning you have enough progesterone that you don't have symptoms of low progesterone, decreases your breast cancer risk of 500% and decreases your overall cancer risk for any type of cancer by 1,000%. Progesterone is so protective that everybody needs to make sure they have enough progesterone in their bodies. Premarin is a synthetic hormone, Diana, that is made from horse urine. It's bad for women, bad for you. So this is natural progesterone, all these things. This is what it does. It improves sleep. Sleep is so important. We're going to talk about that at the end. But if you are not sleeping well, before you go on a sleeping pill, before you go on an antidepressant, you need to make sure your body is getting enough progesterone. When you get enough progesterone, you sleep well. When you have too much progesterone, you're sleepy during the day. So it promotes healthy sleep. It's dramatically protective against all kinds of cancers. Most women lose weight when their progesterone is normal. Progesterone decreases with age faster than estrogen and usually needs to be replaced first. Progesterone and estrogen have to be balanced, kind of like a symphony. But we need those hormones for everything that our body does. Even if you've had a hysterectomy, even if you're in menopause, even if you're a young girl and you have terrible periods, you probably don't have enough progesterone. So there's lots of different ways to get progesterone. We'll talk about that at the end, but you need to make sure you're getting natural progesterone. Okay. Now, some of the other benefits. We talked about cancer. It's preventive for all types of cancer. It's safe for women. You can never do yourself harm with natural progesterone. You will feel better. Women, there have been lots of studies that show that women have a much better quality of life when their progesterone level is normal. So I guarantee 90 to 95% of all the comments from on yesterday's post, all those things you're struggling with, low progesterone. I can almost guarantee you. So, and again, a lot of times if you go and have your blood work done, it's going to say your levels are normal because your progesterone receptors and your estrogen receptors are clogged up with junk so that your hormones, which are there, can't do what they're supposed to do. How do you know if how do you know if you don't have enough progesterone? You have all the symptoms that y'all mentioned yesterday on the post, all the PMS symptoms, all the hormone symptoms. It's almost always progesterone. Progesterone balances estrogen. So a lot of you are taking synthetic estrogen without progesterone. That's terrible for you. Dramatically increases your risk for cancer. You should never take unopposed estrogen. So you need to balance that out with some natural progesterone. Estradiol, natural estrogen, is good for you, but it's good for you in combination with progesterone. Progesterone prevents and treats endometrial hyperplasia. It also can keep people from having hysterectomies. So often the reason you go in with symptoms, your doctor recommends hysterectomy. In so many of those cases, if you had been on progesterone, you would not have had the hysterectomy. So it's really important for that. It does wonders for bone health. Osteoporosis is a major problem for postmenopausal women. Years of having a lack of these hormones is what causes it. The bisphosphonates have a ton of side effects. The medicine that is prescribed for osteoporosis has a ton of side effects. Progesterone will help that in so many women. It should always be given for osteoporosis. The medicines for osteoporosis have a 75% side effect rate, and progesterone will directly increase bone mineral density. That's been shown in several studies. Okay, progesterone drastically reduces hot flashes and night sweats. But you need to take enough. Most of the time, people don't take enough progesterone, and that's why they continue to have symptoms. You need to take enough. You almost can't take too much. It doesn't really matter what your serum levels say. If you're still having symptoms, you need a little more. And if that doesn't fix it after you're at a good therapeutic dose, then maybe go for natural estrogen or testosterone. But progesterone is almost always the culprit. I said this is so important though. It improves your quality of life. It makes you love your husband. It gives you back your normal sex drive. I can't tell you how many women, I teach classes all the time in my town. I can't tell you how many women have zero libido, have no energy, have no interest in their relationship. And then what happens is they get put on maybe an antidepressant or whatever, which further takes away their drive and further complicates and covers up their symptoms, when just some progesterone would have changed their life. So if you're one of those women, do not settle for just straight out of the gate a pharmaceutical drug. You need to get some progesterone. We're going to talk about that at the end, Michelle. Okay. There are several places to get it. I'm going to talk about the one I use. There's plenty of other places to get it. Okay. It dramatically improves your skin. If you could see pictures of my skin from 3 years ago, I look 10 years younger than I did 3 years ago, because I am taking way better care of myself. My hormone levels are finally normal, and all kinds of things. It's so good for your skin. It will make you feel younger. The reason we feel our age is because our hormones wane. If you can get on some natural progesterone, it will make you feel better. You'll feel younger. Your skin will show it. It causes weight loss in most women. Almost all the studies done with natural progesterone shows that it causes weight loss in most women. The other thing, somebody mentioned other treatments for it. I think DHEA is a good treatment. We're going to talk about it at the end. But here's what I will say. Progesterone itself is so protective that no matter what else you're doing, you need to be on some progesterone, because it's so protective against cancer and heart disease and osteoporosis and stroke and all of that. It's such a protective hormone that even if you're doing other things that are kind of helping with the symptoms, you need to make sure you're using some progesterone as well. Okay. It causes improvement in your insulin receptor response. So a lot of times as we get older, we start to gain weight, we start to put on fat around the middle, we get a little bit of insulin resistance, which allows our blood sugars to rise up because our insulin isn't responsive. Using progesterone will increase the responsiveness of your insulin receptors. So your blood sugar will be in better balance. Okay, the average patient loses 10 to 20 pounds once their progesterone is normalized. Normalized progesterone will make you sleep. I know we talked about this before, but this is so important. Sleep is so important for everything you do. Natural progesterone will make you sleep. It remyelinates nerve fibers, so a lot of women get weird palpitations and weird paresthesias and weird symptoms when their hormones go crazy. Normalizing your progesterone will help remyelinize those nerves so that you don't get those weird paresthesias or weird symptoms. It helps with stress and acts as an anxiolytic. It's protective against endometriosis and fibro-dense breasts. And lack of progesterone is the #1 cause of menstrual migraines. So, have I convinced you yet that you need progesterone? At least your body needs to have normal progesterone. If you don't have any of the symptoms that we talked about, your progesterone is probably normal, but I guarantee you, you are in the minority. Progesterone is so important and very protective, and you need to get it from a natural source. If you're using synthetic hormones, none of this is true, except it might help your hot flashes. It's not protective against cancer. They actually cause cancer, synthetic hormones. So when I'm speaking of all these amazing benefits of progesterone, I'm talking about natural progesterone. Okay, here's how you know if you have enough progesterone. If your symptoms are going away and you're sleeping and your normal sex drive is coming back, you're on the right track, okay? So some people say to me, especially women who are menopausal, will say, well, I don't really have any symptoms. And here's what I find with that. Or people who've had hysterectomy. I don't really have any symptoms. But then you really dig further, they don't really feel that well. They don't have, robust energy. They don't really have sex drive. They just have gotten used to feeling bad. So what I say to that is, whether or not you're menopausal, your body needs progesterone. And I find that once you get yourself in a healthier place, you'll need less of it. But at first, you really need to get enough in there so that your body can do what it's supposed to do. I don't tend to need as much progesterone as I did 3 years ago because I've cleaned up my environment and I'm getting more exercise and I've lost 15 pounds. So I don't have as much fat cells that are making estrogen all the time. So you go by symptoms. Most physicians will tweak your medication based on your symptoms. So you're the best gauge of that. You're the best gauge of whether or not it's enough, of how much you need, because you're the one who knows your symptoms. It doesn't really matter what your serum progesterone is if you have symptoms. So I went in a few years ago and had mine checked, and it said mine were normal, but I was a crazy woman with terrible hormone balance. So even though my level was normal, my receptors were all glommed up, and I couldn't get to my hormones couldn't get to where they needed to go to do what they needed to do. Okay, so it's really, really important. I'm sorry, I keep having trouble. I think I'm too passionate. I'm moving around too much, you guys. I have seen so many women get help and get relief once they get their progesterone level normal, okay? We're going to talk about that a little bit, Terry. What do you do if your physician won't really talk about this? A lot of physicians, I find, because I wasn't back in the day, are more into treating lab values, and if your lab values are normal, or whatever, but there are ways around that and things that you can do. Maybe you need to find somebody who's more into, natural remedies. That might help, because it does help. I feel like the more complicated you are, the more you probably need a professional to walk alongside you, but a lot of this you can get started on your own. You don't really need to have all that in order to get started and to get some relief. I just want people to get relief. I know what it's like to totally struggle through this, and we need relief. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in 1 second. Hold on, let me make sure I'm following my notes. Did I mention, how do you know you have enough progesterone? You sleep well, your sex drive is well, you have energy, your cycles are normal. Y'all are so funny. No, do not use birth control, Ashley. Watch my video. Birth control, a lot of doctors put young girls on birth control because we don't have a lot of answers in modern medicine for this. So we just put people on birth control. It's not good for you. It disrupts your cycle. It shuts down your cycle. So you have withdrawal bleeding, but that's not really cycling through your normal cycle. And remember all the things I talked about at the beginning of the video? God made your cycle for a reason. And so we want to go through the normal cycle. Birth control shuts that down, dramatically increases your risk for breast cancer and other cancers, increases your risk for heart disease, stroke, and all of that. No birth control pills. Okay, next. So there are some other hormones. There's estradiol, which is the beneficial estrogen. And this is natural estradiol. Nothing today. I'm not talking about synthetic hormones. Synthetic hormones are so bad for you. So this is natural estradiol. Is also something that a lot of women add after menopause. I find that a lot of women really, before menopause, only need some progesterone, along with the other stuff I'm going to talk about at the end, ways to naturally boost your hormones. But estradiol's benefits, estradiol is mostly produced in the ovaries. It prevents heart disease, strokes, diabetes. It hardens your bones. It makes your hair and skin it makes your hair and nails thick and your skin well. It does not cause cancer. This is natural estradiol. Does not cause cancer, but is a protective compound. It does not cause clots unless you have a clotting disorder like factor V Leiden. So estradiol, natural estrogen, is good for women too. I find that most women don't need it unless they've had a hysterectomy or are postmenopausal. So if you're in the age of before menopause or perimenopause, probably progesterone supplementation will be enough. But you need to improve your balance of this. Okay, so how are we going? What time is it, ladies? How long? Oh, I've been talking forever. I gotta get to the good stuff. I had this whole section on improving your estrogen metabolism, but I think we're gonna go ahead and go to some ways to naturally improve your hormones. Where do you get estradiol? We're gonna talk about that, Pat. There's a lot of there's some good natural sources of that. Okay, so first of all, this is how I teach all of my classes. An oil, a supplement, heaven forbid a prescription drug for hormones I'm not a fan. But those are not going to help you in the long run all that much if you don't do the other things. And we're going to talk about what those other things are. You really, really need to pay attention to your diet. Diet is important for everything. What you put in your body. I promise you that most of you could probably completely influence your hormone levels just by what is on your plate. So, I think we're still live. So, are y'all still seeing me? You can drastically improve your hormones by back. Are we back? Are we back? Oh no. I don't know if we're still here. Are we back, girls? Oh, yay. I think we're back. Oh, no, you're still saying I'm frozen. Come back to us. Oh, good. I'm back. Okay. So what I was saying is nutrition. Increase your healthy fats by eating good fish, wild-caught fish, fish oil, chia seeds, flax seeds, avocado, coconut oil, good healthy fats. Decrease your sugar intake. When your sugar's too high, your estrogen will spike because sugar creates glycogen, which will increase your insulin and cortisol and estrogen. You'll make more fat cells, which will make more estrogen and all of that. Oh no, I can't tell if I'm interrupted or not. So your diet is important. And next is sleep. Fixing your hormones are going to fix your sleep. But here's what I will say. You have got to learn to value and prioritize sleep. That's when you make all your hormones. Your body does its biggest work when you're asleep. Your melatonin, which is the hormone that's produced by your pineal gland, is produced when you get yourself in a dark room and tell your body that it's time for sleep. So we have become a society that is totally addicted to staying up all night and not valuing sleep. You need to value sleep. You will know you have enough progesterone when you sleep. Okay, I think you just need to refresh the video, or I guess if it's frozen though, you can't. You can't. Okay, refresh your browser. Good. So, 80% of women do not get enough restful sleep. Insomnia is so tied to your hormone balance. So as you're balancing your hormones, start to value sleep, get more sleep, go to bed earlier. God made us to live in this circadian rhythm. We go to bed when it's dark, we get up when it's light. And when you live more in the way that He created us, then your body will do what it's supposed to do during sleep. How do you know if you're getting enough sleep? You dream. So you should dream, and that is a good indication that you're sleeping well. So, nutrition number 1, sleep number 2, exercise. The more lean muscle you build, the more exercise you get, the more sensitive your body is to insulin. So you will burn those fat cells, which now won't produce as much estrogen. So it's really important to move your body. It's such a good stress reliever too. You'll feel like doing that as you balance your progesterone more, I think. So yes, get some exercise. Now let's talk about supplementation. If you're not using a fish oil, I would highly recommend that. In our environment, we get a lot of omega-6s. The fish oils are, the good ones are omega-3s. We have one with Young Living called Omega-Gize. But important to get your body the fatty acids that it needs. B vitamins are also great for this. So we have a B vitamin called Super B. If you're not using Young Living supplements, I recommend that you do some research. Supplements can be just expensive urine. You can excrete them out. Your body doesn't assimilate them. You don't use them well. The thing that's great about our supplements is they're infused with oils. Oils, we're going to talk about this more in just a second, but oils can break into the cell. God designed oils so that they have access to the cell. They can get inside, whereas most of the other things, especially prescription drugs, just glom onto the outside of your cells. Oils can get inside, unlock the receptors, let your body do what it needs to do. So supplements that are infused with oils tend to be way more bioavailable. Vitamin D3. If you, the supplement that I mentioned before, Omega-Gize, has D3 in it. So Omega-Gize would take care of this, but get out in the sun, get some natural vitamin D3. It's really good for so many processes in your body, including your hormone balance. Okay, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Now, I'm going to put some links when I finish this video. I'm going to put some links in the description of other places that you can get natural progesterone besides what I'm recommending. I don't really care where you get it. I kind of do care because I want you to get really good natural progesterone, but either way, you need to get some. Progesterone creams in general don't work that well. They are not absorbed that well. I have been on creams 3 different times. It did not significantly improve my symptoms and did not significantly increase my progesterone. So I'm not a huge fan of creams. I'm not sure if some of you follow Dr. Purser. He has some excellent resources for getting sublingual progesterone that's all natural. I will link to that in the description after this video, okay? The thing that I use is called Progessence Plus. This is a natural progesterone. So good in so many ways at balancing your hormones. I find for most people, you can put a roller top on top of this. You guys are already giving hearts because you love Progessence so much. You can put a roller top on this and roll it on your skin. You can use it. I use it on my inner ankles at night. It's actually best to use progesterone at night because it relaxes smooth muscle and helps you sleep. When I use it at night, I have a different bottle by my bed, and I don't have this top on it. I have the regular top, and I just put a few drops, maybe 6 or 8 drops in my hand, and put it on my inner ankles. If you're just starting it, I would say start with 3 drops or so at night and increase until your symptoms get better. When you start something like this, if you haven't been using it, it can cause an upset in the apple cart. Be patient. Make sure you're using enough. How do you know you're using enough? You sleep well, your sex drive comes back, and you in general feel better. So make sure that you're using enough. Yes, Sissy, the regular roller tops fit Progessence. They sure do. And that natural progesterone is incredibly bioavailable. It has amazing benefits for people. We have, I don't know, I think there's a ton. Maybe, I don't know, I heard a number like 15,000 people, or maybe it's more than that use this Progessence every month with incredible results. I'm going to upload, I know a ton of you are going to have questions about Progessence. I'm going to upload a PDF that you can read about it that will answer all your questions. 29 is not too young to start using it if you have symptoms. Some people who only have, issues going on a certain time of month might use Progessence just during those days, but most of us need it every day. And all these, I know you're going to have a ton of questions about this. I'm going to upload a PDF that will answer all your questions about it. Oh, awesome, you guys. So, natural progesterone. I'm going to also provide other resources for where you can get the sublingual kind. That's a natural source. Maybe you have a pharmacist that will compound a natural progesterone for you. I don't care where you get it. Get yourself some natural progesterone and it will change your life. Progesterone changes people's daily lives more than any other thing I've ever seen. It's so, so good. You just got to get it into your system and begin to make the other changes we talked about, your nutrition and all of this. Yes, at 63, you need it. You need progesterone. I'm not saying you have to have this one. I'm saying you need progesterone. No, you do not have to cycle this progesterone. The reason that you've been told your whole life to cycle progesterone, to only use it during certain days, is because those synthetic progesterones cause cancer, and they don't want you to be exposed to them any longer than you have to. When you're using a natural progesterone, it's actually protective against cancer. Use it every day. Use a lot of it every day. Your body, it will thank you later. The other thing I forgot to mention, somebody just mentioned it. Yes, Endoflex is an oil we have that is incredible. It's probably second to this one. It is great for balancing all different hormones, your thyroid, your adrenal glands, which in turn will help balance your female hormones. So if you're not using Endoflex, do some research. I highly recommend you use Endoflex because once your thyroid is balanced, your thyroid has such a direct effect on your female hormones. Next, The drink I'm drinking. This drink is called Ningxia Red. It is a powerful antioxidant. It will help your body to detox from some of the xenoestrogens that you're exposed to in the environment. So it's a powerful antioxidant, good for all different parts of your health, balances every system, not just your hormone system, but great for your hormone system as well. So if you're not drinking that drink, that would be a great way. The other thing is just start removing some of the junk you're exposed to. Replace your toxic cleaners with something more natural. We have Thieves Cleaner, which is awesome. There's all kinds of stuff out there that are better for you than probably what you're using. You need to try to find some natural skincare, some more natural makeup, things that don't have hormone disruptors in them. And the more changes you make, the more your body will just balance itself on its own. So those oils I love. Now, let me tell you this. Here's what I find. I find that in general, what happens to us women is we go with our symptoms, and we, instead of being given something like this, which is completely and totally awesome and beneficial, a lot of times we are given antidepressants instead. Now, antidepressants may have their place, although it's a small place. It's not 30% of women like currently take them in our culture. What they will do a lot of times is over time, I've taken them 3 different times, so I speak from experience as a patient and as a physician. Over time, they will decrease your sex drive, cover up your emotions, make you flatline. They won't do for you what I'm talking about, where you get to the point where you feel vibrant again and full of life and full of compassion and young again and all of that. Those will not do that. They can be used for a short period of time if you're really struggling with something, but don't depend on those where there are things that are so much better that you can do for yourself. Work on your nutrition, work on your supplementation, get some more exercise, be more aware of what's going on in your body, and don't just give in every time to just an antidepressant. It's not what we need 99% of the time. Oh, I forgot to mention the other one that I take, which is called PD8020. Remember I mentioned at the first of this that DHEA and pregnenolone were precursors to your hormones. That's what this is. P is pregnenolone, D is DHEA. I take 2 of these a day, something like that, depending on where you are. I'm in the perimenopause phase, so that might be a help to you too. Some of you probably already take DHEA from your doctor, and that's great too. But if we can at least find some more natural remedies, then it's better for our bodies. Our bodies know how to metabolize those better. One of the reasons that essential oils work so well for your body is because they're tiny in size, and they're able to get inside your cell and inside your nucleus. They can open up your receptor sites. They're everywhere in the environment. God literally filled the environment with them. You go outside, you get the benefits of them. And so there's just so many benefits of them. And when we lived outside and worked outside 100 years ago, we were exposed to those natural things all the time. And now we're not. So bringing them inside with a diffuser. I mean, I find I've got oils all day sitting here. I was going to show you some of the ones I love diffusing. Joy oil, orange oil, that will have such a profound effect on your mood, and just help you in so many ways. Whereas, you know, some of the other stuff that we do just sort of flatlines us, and we don't want that. PD8020 is awesome for people who are postmenopausal, Kimberly. Kathy, there are, if you don't already know somebody who does it, then just go to ediewadsworth.com and you can read all about it. It's EDIE Wadsworth, that's my name, .com. One of the ones that I love, 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 love is Lady Sclerol. I use this one every single day. Has a little bit of clary sage in it, some ylang ylang, which is great for just that female energy. So I use this one every day. I tend to use it on my lower abdomen, 3 or 4 drops a day, along with my Progessence, along with my Endoflex. I at nighttime use a lot of great oils. I use an oil called Release, which is awesome at night because as women we just tend to hold on to things and store them up. I love that oil as I sort of pray and help God, ask God to help me forgive people and move on and be a blessing and all of that. Lavender is a great oil. It has some phytoestrogenic activity, so some plant-based estrogen activity in there. It's great in your diffuser. I love it in my diffuser with orange oil, or another one of my favorites, Peace and Calming. There's just so many good ones. There's so much help for you without having to resort to things that take away your just who you are. God made you as a beautiful, beautiful woman, and he made us to be mothers and nurturers and sisters and full of compassion and joy and able to rejoice with people who rejoice and weep with those who weep. And I find that when you take a culture and just wipe out their emotions, it's not a good thing. It's not good for it's not good for us. It's not good for our daughters. It's not good for our society in general. We need to be able to feel our emotions, but then to have some tools where we can channel that energy in the right way. What about Prinalone Plus? I love Prinalone Plus. That is a product that has DHEA and Prinalone in it as well. So it's kind of like the cream form of PD 8020. Can you use Lady Sclerol if you're on compounded estradiol? Hopefully that is a natural estradiol, Michelle. I'm assuming it is since it's compounded. Yes, you could. That would be awesome. Endoflex, where to apply? You can actually, I take my Endoflex internally because we have an Endoflex Vitality. We have a whole line of oils that are called Vitality oils that you can take internally. I take mine in a pill, 3, 4, 5 drops a day, but you also can put it over your thyroid or over your adrenal glands if you use the regular Endoflex. I know, I have my necklace on today, Miss Susan. Thank you for that. I love it. Somebody asked me about my earrings. These I got at a friend of mine, Allison, made these from her. Her Instagram is called Extraordinary Plume. Okay, I can take a few more questions. I know this has been long. This video will be left up for the rest of the day. There will be a link in the description for how to get the replay. The replay is going to be able to be found at hormonebalancewithessentialoils.com. So if you go there, put in your email address, probably tomorrow, maybe the next day, I will email you the replay. So I'll put that web address up there. If you have not gotten started yet and want to get started with oils, contact the person who introduced you to them. If I am that person, then you just go to my website, ediewadsworth.com. ediewadsworth.com. PCOS, yes, is too much testosterone. That's right. And a lot of times progesterone will balance that out. Could you use Progessence with compounded progesterone? Yes. Do you need to worry about mixing supplements or taking too much? I'm not sure which ones you're referring to, Marion, but you can almost not get too much progesterone if it's natural. You're so welcome. You're welcome, everybody. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I know that there's a ton of specific questions about using Progessence. I will link to a PDF that will answer most of those. Can you use them if you have an IUD? If you have a copper IUD, you certainly can. If you have a Mirena, you can, although the company would probably officially say no because they wouldn't want their progesterone to be blamed if you had like a DVT or like a bad outcome from the IUD. Yay, Miss Linda. We are on our way to being healthy, strong wife. Yes, that's awesome. Laurie, you'll be able to watch the replay if you go to, what is it? hormonebalancewithessentialoils.com. Give me your email address. I'll send you the replay probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. Does progesterone have to be balanced with estradiol? Most of the time in women who are pre-menopause, no, because you already have enough. But estradiol always needs to be balanced with progesterone. So the other way, it does need to be balanced. I don't do private consulting. I'm sorry, Miss Patty. But there's lots and lots of help in our private Facebook group. I don't know if you already do oils with somebody, but we do have lots of help. I just don't do private one-on-one. 17-year-old with heavy periods. Yes, progescence during, you could try it at first during the before the period starts. Can you get enough progesterone if it's been determined that you're super low? You might need sublingual or oral progesterone if it's super, super low. Tina, you would just need to talk to your doctor there. I'm going to link to some places where you can get natural progesterone that is oral. You might need more. Yeah, you might need more. Most people do well with progescence. Oh, yay. How do you wean off? Yeah, if you're going to try to wean off something, you definitely need to talk to your doctor. And you need to tell them what your thoughts are. That you want to try some natural progesterone. And ask them for suggestions for doing that. My thought is to wean pretty slow when you're trying to wean stuff. And work with your physician. Sissy, you're just sitting here waiting for your follicular phase, baby. Honey, I know. I have big plans for my next follicular phase, by the way. Big plans. Although I'm doing pretty good in luteal. I'm in luteal right now. I'm kind of nailing it in luteal, so. Is the estradiol you have to ask them, Lisa. There are forms of natural estradiol, but it's not that easy to come by. So ask them and make sure. Maybe your pharmacy could compound some. Do you have anything added to my drink? Yes. So I add, this is 1 pack of Ningxia Red, a pack of Ningxia Nitro, and then some sparkling water. So that's how I drink mine every day. And it's an incredible drink. So good for you. Makes you feel good. Have lots of energy. And balances so many different systems. Really good for digestion. Really good for blood sugar balance. Good for hormone balance. So many things. Immune system and all that. You're so welcome, Michelle. Okay, so I am going to close the video out in just a second. I'm going to put all the resources at the top of the description of the video. So I'm going to put a bunch of links up there, how you can get the replay up there, and all of that. And then you have until the end of the day to watch this video. It will be removed. And if you sign up for the replay, then you'll get the replay in a day or two. I need to check it to make sure too. I know it went out for a while. How do I know where to put the oils on my body? Just thin skin, Rachel. So inner ankle, inner wrists, neck, wherever. Oh, yay. You know what that tells me? That tells me that we are struggling. We need help. Help's on the way. I'm telling you, when I first started to get relief, I felt like, oh, thank you, Lord. There is relief. There is relief. Oh, yay. Thank you. Awesome. Is it worth it to get blood work done? Cindy, I think it's fine to get that done. I was listening. I mean, a lot of people recommend saliva testing, which I think is probably good. Although I saw a study that it doesn't always correlate with serum levels. I like to go by symptoms. If you still have symptoms, it doesn't matter what your levels are. It is good as a baseline, I suppose. But But yeah, I don't think it's required. With progesterone? Yes, progesterone would help with that. Progesterone is awesome for PCOS. Natural progesterone. Okay, girls, I've so enjoyed it. I will try to check back to see if there's anything else I can answer. I hope it's been helpful. Enjoy for the rest of the day, and then watch for me to add stuff into the description. Love you guys.